Justin, you're a bit overexposed. That's a little better. Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, Reasonable Doubt, here with the one, the only Justin Harris.
San Antonio, but hey man, how's it going?
Yo, chilling, bro, chilling, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a little while. Good to see you.
It has been. You've been holding down the fort. I think Justin Harris should take over this seat.
I like this seat.
Oh, come on,
This seat's
man.
nice.
Come on,
I
bro.
like this one.
Justin Harris.
I'll be back in there.
Come on, we've been waiting for you over here, man. Why don't you come and do a live show?
You know, we were like prepping the agenda for the topics for tonight. This wasn't one of them. Like I didn't know I was gonna get like ambushed to come back in the studio.
We're waiting for you, Mark Pirtle in the studio, running the controls. Mark, how you doing, Mark? Give us a wave.
Yo,
I was
Mark.
just, damn.
Yeah.
I just wanted
there he is.
Justin back in here.
Oh, well, if you caught us a little bit of pregame, we have an itinerary or things to talk about in the next hour. Let's start
You
off.
don't have to be stuck to that order. We can go to any order.
Oh no, any order, we should have something. We'll do it by vote. So
How many juries have you vordired, to make it a verb, since we last saw you, JV?
well, you know, every day you got to be ready, man. You got to be ready.
Objection
You
non-responsive.
got to be ready every day.
Objection
Oh
non-responsive.
my God! The reality is, a
You
few,
don't even
man.
know.
It's a few, man. It's a lot, dude.
You're not even
It's a
sure.
lot. Yeah,
Like I
it's
don't
a lot.
know. Like some.
Hey, talk about
Some.
not being prepared. Look, okay, look. If you want to check the speech out, you need to come to the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association banquet. For
Heck
all
yeah.
for all those watching, go to the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association website and buy a table to the banquet.
Yes.
Yes.
Or buy
yes.
two.
Buy two.
Buy
And
two
and
tables.
while you're at it, re-up. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be an awesome banquet. Lifetime
Yeah.
achievements, President's Awards, socializing, gathering, booze, toasts. It's going to be awesome.
First time since no one had heard the word COVID.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to be great. And while you're
Back
at
when
it,
people wanted Coronas.
I still remember.
Sorry.
Do you
Sorry.
still remember? Yeah, no. This, can you believe it's been 2 years since we've had a banquet? We're finally all coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Be safe, get vaccinated, wear a
Then come hang
mask.
out.
Come hang out. I mean, whatever. Just bring yourself, right? I think.
And like 9 of the people at your table that you buy.
Yes, and there's only a limited amount of tables, and there's like.
There's not an infinite number.
Well, and we're like the largest bar, one of the largest local bars in the country.
I think the largest local bar association, criminal defense bar association.
There
Yeah,
are
you're right.
only so many tables.
It's the hottest ticket in town that night.
It's on a Thursday, and
May 12th.
May 12th. I mean, go. I got 3 tables.
What?
I'm thinking about buying 9 tables. I don't know.
Man, when JV gets the Lifetime Achievement Award, which you're probably going to get at the age of 38.
Yeah, right. Are you saying because I'm
there-
almost dead? It's because I'm saying
No.
because I'm a walking zombie?
Because
Thank
when
you,
they're
my
gonna find out
friend.
There's actually 3 of you. It's going to be like in anyway. But when you get it, you're gonna have to like buy the whole place out. You're already getting 3 tables.
That's funny. Well, hey, whatever, Justin. Whatever, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time though. Everybody should come.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so we have something. What Juan is saying. Can you talk about how we can't file vouchers due to the glitch? Okay, I didn't know. Okay, so let's go into some of the Mac stuff and vouchers. Let's talk about vouchers because I started to do a voucher for misdemeanors on Sunday, and it was wild. It was crazy. All sorts of people have talked to me in court and asked me, hey, did you see or could you even figure out how to do a voucher? And the answer was no. Well, I did eventually, but it took me like 2-3 hours. And who has that kind of time to spare? I mean, you should, right? I mean, it's important to do. You have to bill, right? But it was so difficult. I found the PowerPoint, which guided me through, and the PowerPoint was extremely helpful. It really was. And once you sit down and like not go crazy and look at the PowerPoints that the Mac has given you. And you're gonna have to go through all of them, but when you find the one that applies to you, it can work. I made it. It did, and I have good faith and hope. Have you tried to bill anything on the Mac, Justin? But two, I don't know. One, while Justin's talking about that, if you could tell us some sort of glitch on the vouchers. I know Nick had sent emails out, so if you know about them or if you can kind of talk about them, that'd be great. So what says you, Justin?
No, I have not tried to file a voucher since Monday or whenever this problem. I filed some on Sunday. I don't think I had any problem, but
it was different. If you did it on Sunday,
system.
it was different. If you did it on Sunday, it was different.
The old system. They were shifting over to a new system.
It was different on Sunday.
I'll need clarification on what glitch Juan's talking about, because there was a major glitch on Thursday last week, 1 week ago, when a major server went down for the county, and they lost access to like everything. And apparently hundreds of people didn't get magic. Like they couldn't file charges of people who were arrested. The computer system just wasn't working. So they literally couldn't file criminal charges and complaints, information, and indictments on the weekends, but couldn't file charges against anybody.
Let's shelve the Mac issue and talk about this because I have an experience about it today as well.
Yeah, well, I don't know if this is part of the same glitch because from what I understand, even as of today, a week later, not everything is 100% back up and running. But I have heard directly from judges that the county has acknowledged that hundreds of people were released just because they couldn't get charges filed on them within the 72-hour period or 48-hour period that's required under the law.
Okay, Juan Aguirre says, we had a Zoom chat today and they explained some of the differences. I still can't file vouchers today, neither in misdemeanor or felony. Oh, that's absolutely terrible. You can't even put in your vouchers?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with that. But I was in a meeting this afternoon and I don't remember a lot of discussion about technical issues that are going on, other than the Mac just saying they still are working out kinks. But
I don't think that's a Mac issue or a. I heard like JWeb failed. Like
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like everything went down.
Yeah.
On last Thursday night, and it was down. I think through a good part of the weekend. I had clients who were in custody that said that they were watching the local news, and the local news was reporting that they were having to release hundreds of people. I'm trying to talk to somebody who knows exactly what went down, but I have seen some messages. Let me see.
Flipping back, Juan says, even when you try to look at your prior voucher, it gives you an error statement. I did vouchers all weekend, and I was able to get the vouchers like probably till 6 o'clock Sunday after I figured out this whole weird new system. And I walked through the PowerPoint, so I think I did it right. However, I would go absolutely insane if I couldn't get my vouchers in. Like Harris County's lucky I didn't start to do vouchers on Monday again because I would have been, or after this glitch, I can only imagine those who tried to do their vouchers and get paid because keep in mind, for everybody's watching, you have to put your voucher in the Tuesday before the Harris County Commissioners meeting on Thursday, based on their commissioners meetings, and that's on the Harris County Auditor's Office. Juan Aguirre says, I think it's a JWeb problem. Supposedly JWeb shut the whole thing down. So I had
So here's what I have. Here's
Okay.
what I have, JD. This was apparently sent to the judges. Says at 7:05 p.m. on Thursday, March 24th, Harris County suffered a catastrophic network outage as Harris County Universal Services was doing maintenance on the network. When the network went down, all systems supporting justice were no longer available. As the network came back, justice systems, JWeb, Deeds, DIMS, VIPs, and our court business intelligence system remained unavailable. Systems have been coming back over the weekend, but there are still impacts to our court business intelligence system and to VIPs. For more than 48 hours, misdemeanor and felony charges could not be completed. Cases could not be filed. There were delays with detainees booked into and released from the JPC, and probable cause court was inundated with SB7 reviews. All criminal justice agencies went into emergency operations and began prioritizing charges, bookings, and releases. There remains a backup of defendants in the JPC. Probable cause court is operating normally, but you will notice on bond dockets,
You know who I want to have on?
so people were released without conditions of bond, and judges were being advised to review all the bonds.
You know who I
So-
want to see on this
But
show?
that's pretty amazing. Like
It's freaking
it goes on to
Skynet.
say that they have to, like, they're gonna figure out, they're gonna, like, what does this say?
This
Let
is
me read the last
Terminator.
part
This
of
is
it.
Skynet, dude.
I'll hang on a second.
Or a complete failure.
Listen, this is what
Or
it says.
hackers.
No,
It's hackers.
Russian hackers.
It,
Listen to me.
you
Listen.
said that. I didn't say that.
JB, listen. Listen to this sentence. This was a significant event, and there will be a thorough review after the event is over to
Hackers.
determine in detail the causes, failures, and to create better planning to prevent outage of this type in the future. I mean, this is like a serious email. Someone didn't just slap this together, and it says things like, all systems supporting justice were no longer available. All criminal justice agencies went into emergency operations and began prioritizing charges, bookings, and releases.
This was
a significant
Batman.
event.
It's crazy. It's literally what happened in Batman, in Christopher Nolan,
So
when the
whatever
jails
this was-
just open up.
Right.
It's literally
And
what
that's the thing,
happened.
is we are the third busiest criminal justice system in the United States. We're behind New York and Los Angeles County.
And the biggest psychiatric hospital or housing facility in the state.
Yeah, and so
I want to know who's responsible for this. It's hackers. It's hackers, man. It has to be.
Well, that's the thing, is that, with our infrastructure, as bad as it is when it comes to, like, basic utilities, I don't know how vulnerable government servers and things are, and even private servers. But there's the war going on in Ukraine and Russia, and it's, in some ways, Ukraine's kind of being used as a proxy, and it's going to open the United States up to different attacks. Biden's already warned to be ready for cyber attacks from Russian hacker groups. So I don't know. I'm not saying that's what this is.
Can you imagine?
Whatever this is, what if this is or becomes like a deliberate attempt by somebody? It really can cripple things. If just for 48 hours it forced local law enforcement agencies into emergency operation mode, if they can characterize this as a significant event, they were releasing people and they weren't able to file charges. If someone takes this thing down a little bit more significantly, it could be like, the 24 to 48 hours after Hurricane Harvey without the storm.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's flip it and let's look at it. If we can look at the numbers, and during this period, because I had a guy, I'll share my experience. I had a guy today out on the PR bond on the glitch, came to court, came all GPS monitored out, like ready, like, hey, I got that PR bond, I'm ready. And I said, oh, that is so awesome. That's great. boom, custody, glitch, bond. Now we're set
Wow.
for a hearing. Yeah, right. So they're rectifying that problem. But I have a
By
question.
locking people back up.
Right. Well, I have a question. So in this time that the Harris County, that you treated humans like humans, did the murder rate spike over the night? Were criminals released to bound through Harris County? I want to know,
I'm sure not.
because if not, then you know what? Maybe bail reform is real. And when you start treating humans like humans and people like people, they act like people because they are. I don't know. Just a thought. Ruben Reyes says, no PC, Your Honor. Hackers put that in the DIMS. That's so true. And Ruben, you're going to have to do some explaining on the show about that.
I like that.
Okay, so we spent 15 minutes on that. Let's get back to our agenda. Okay, so that's the glitch. HUCLA business. Yeah, I think we've talked about that, right? Like, go renew your membership, and you should go to the banquet. It's gonna be awesome. Jury trials. So I hear the the felony ER emergency relief docket. Some of them have been moved to the Family Law Center, and the associate judges have taken over the middle court of the 20th floor. Now, that's not for everything, because I still know and I still have ER dockets up on the 20th floor too. I just think that at least at this point, some of your ER docket's going to be on the 20th floor. Some of
What's
your
ER docket?
emergency relief
What's ER
docket.
docket?
So it's all the cases that the judges send out that are old, that need to get resolved, that need to get tried.
Emergency relief.
Right.
Okay. So it's the new associate judges that we've talked about before.
Well, interestingly, today or yesterday was the first time that I had been in front of second time I'd been in front of the actual associate judge, but this particular time we were going to have a hearing pending out of a home court.
Okay.
Which was really cool. I was really excited
Was
about
it a dispositive hearing?
No.
Did you dispose of the case?
It was a no bail hearing. It was a felony no bail hearing.
Oh, okay.
Things ended up working out. The hearing didn't go as it has happens, but I was very excited about seeing these ancillary matters being held by an associate judge, and the rulings and presence and demeanor of Her Honor, because she's a new one. She's new. She had a lot of backing. It's the first time she's ever been a judge. I don't think she's ever been a prosecutor. I think she worked as a federal public defender or has defense work. We sat through an hour of hearings or so, and she ruled well, really good. So I'm excited to see the type of rulings that come that way. It's also the same judge. Remember, we heard about Emily Shelton and et al. Getting the mid-trial murder dismissal, and then or nollie, or there was something that happened with prejudice, not with prejudice, or something on the back end based on
I remember that.
the state not providing some sort of piece of evidence that was material to the case and they intended to use. And the defense had been asking about it for a while, and it appeared, I don't know, and I'm not going any further than that regarding if it was, I doubt it was intentional, okay? I know those prosecutors, but whatever it is, it worked in Emily and Cruz's favor. Nathaniel Mounier was on that, which was really good. And she also, and I saw her handle some matters with Sam Kamek. He has a really difficult murder that's in the ER docket. Anyways, well, we're talking about the ER docket. So some of them are in the Family Law Center. Some of them are in the 20th floor, are on the 20th floor. The family law jury selections. I've had the privilege of getting there twice and not being able to seat a jury, but there are plenty more that have sat in the Family Law Center in jury trials. I think Mario Madrid's coming off a big win. Joe Varela's trying a bunch that had come out of the Family Law Center. My first take on the Family Law Center is that there's not a lot of room. So if we roll with the big crew, we like to roll with the big crew. My brothers and typically Adam or Jean-Paul or someone else who wants to sit second chair, the defendant, and we have certain ways on how you want to do things. There's not a lot of room for that. So if you roll with the crew, just know, and defendant positioning, just know you're going to have to think about those things. What else? Anything else on the jury trials, Justin?
Well, they're able to kind of like carry cases throughout the week until it gets reached, until they get a panel for them too, right?
Well,
Are they using the emergency relief dockets to pick juries and then send them back to trial at the home court?
Okay, so check this out. If you're in the emergency relief docket, okay, this is juries that are not sat in the home court. On the ER dockets, you're being sent out somewhere, and each court can only. So in the past, a court used to say, okay, if the number 1 case doesn't go, then we'll go on the number 2 case. If the number 2 case doesn't go, we'll go on the number 3 case. Kind of like it's your home court. However, the rules have changed, and that's how it was in NRG. Like a court would have the voir dire room for that time. Now at the ER docket, you only get one. So for example, if one court says, oh, the number 1 case that we sent on the list to go up there doesn't go, then it goes to the next court. And then it goes to the next court, and then it goes to the next court until somebody gets a jury. Now, make no mistake, I've seen it happen other ways in the sense of if a court's going to get a jury trial, that court's going to get a jury trial.
They're going to get a jury trial.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I've seen it that way too. I've been a part of it. And so, they got to,
It's happened to you, you mean?
Yeah, it has happened. Yeah, right. No, that's what I'm saying.
It rolled right over you.
Well, this is said in jest.
Oh, right. You're joking.
I am saying. What else on jury trials? Misdemeanors, they're rocking and rolling on jury trials.
Yeah, they're back in the criminal justice center. And some of these judges, most of the judges, it's like the first time they've had jury trials with a jury that came from the jury plaza. Like it's since they've ever been elected.
Yeah.
In the criminal justice center. They've had some at the family law center, but since Harvey, I mean, it's crazy.
We're back in business. You've had a couple wins. You had a suppression motion granted and some other motion granted, if I'm not mistaken.
Couple suppressions, and then a verdict.
Have you been have you been in front of any of the judges who lost their primary?
I have.
Have you seen any differences in the way they rule, or completely separately in the demeanor or the posture or the vibe of the court?
Honestly, I haven't. Maybe they seem a little bit less stressed, but I don't think that's has anything to do with the outcome of the election as much as they're just done with the election,
Right.
Whatever the outcome is.
Right.
But no, I mean, I think to their credit, the judges who didn't prevail in their primary, I've seen them showing up, continuing to do things as they always have. And I mean, that's, I think what we'd expect the judge to do is, since they're not supposed to be really political elections, even though they are, we'd like to think that the outcome wouldn't change the person. Right. So, but yeah, what about you?
I couldn't agree more. I think it's more of there's a little bit of like stress that has been released, whether somebody who's won or lost, just so that primary like push is over. At least they have a break. We have there are some runoffs. Sorry, Want to Get It just said the hackers have gotten to our reasonable doubt. Our video is glitching. I am now anonymous. No, I'm not.
See, once the Russians they detected us talking smack.
I haven't seen any of the judges who did not prevail acting inappropriately or anything other than maybe a little bit of relief, and I mean the vibe is calm now, and I look forward to seeing those who won and who are going forward in the general that I wish them the best of luck, and we should have some interesting shows around. I mean, I guess when are they going to start? They're probably going to start around May, June, July,
Yeah.
August, September, October, November.
Yeah, we'll sort of ramp up the general election candidate shows
I think
before November.
It'll be great. It'll be great.
Yeah, do you remember after the last cycle of elections when the 15 Republicans were replaced with 15 Democrats? You remember like the next day after that was a general election, not the primary, but remember how some of the Republicans who'd been there for a while were like kind of poor sports about things? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I remember
yes,
one
I
judge
do.
in particular like called somebody out and said like, "Oh, apparently all the people in Harris County want illegal people to be coming into the country, and so come on in. Why would I put you in jail? I'm gonna just time serve you on this." Something like that. You remember that?
Yes, I remember all that.
Yeah. Do you remember which judge it was?
Yeah.
Oh, who was it?
No. No. Maybe somebody in the chat.
Right.
Maybe want to remember.
Maybe so.
Well, okay. So we're moving along. We have elections. We might as well just dovetail into that. We've already talked about it. You've talked about it on the show. Maybe we just talk about some of the runoffs, huh?
Yeah.
Who's running off on felony court? Jason Long.
Jason Long and
Andy Beal.
Andy Beal. Yeah.
Is that it?
No.
Hey, how about that whole Harris County? Well, I think it was a statewide thing, but Harris County, the mail-in ballots. What was up with that? Do you remember that? Mail-in ballots. There was something about they were incomplete.
There was a delay, and then the election official, Longoria, she was kind of pushed out, sort of thrown under the bus. It sounds like I didn't really follow it all. I knew that this election was going to be kind of turn into a political thing. I mean, it's a political election, but just the election itself and the rules of the election, I knew that was going to be something that came into play, and because this was the first election after this big thing, and both sides are going to be looking to prove that the law was good or that the law was bad. The voter ID law or the voter restriction law, whatever you want to look at it. But no, I don't really know.
I'm looking through here on Court 3 was a big race. Who ended up winning that one? Portia Brown.
Yep.
That was a big race.
That'll be an interesting one to see, presuming that, not to be too presumptuous, that she gets elected to the bench, because it's been, I think, a little while since we had somebody who's kind of from outside Harris County come in, and
Chuck Silverman, Judge Silverman. The guy came
from Harris County.
Oh, he did. He kind of came from nowhere, and you know what? He did it. It's in my opinion, he has done and is continuing to do a damn good job. Now, Jamal, he has a torch, and man, that torch that Jamal's going to he's going to go lead the path less traveled and lead a path for all of us. This is what I believe. I mean, I've known Jamal for years. He is my elder, and I mean, he has the torch now. Who's he running against in the primary? Isn't it somebody big? Isn't it a big name, or it's going to be a good race?
In the general?
Yeah, in the general. It's a big name.
Oh my God. The name I keep coming to mind, I think is not the right name.
Let me see.
I wasn't prepared to talk election. I found out 10 minutes before we go on, we were talking about that.
Let me see.
I'll do my homework for the next.
It's a 1/3 district court, Republican prime.
Usually someone on Facebook helps us out.
Yeah, somebody. I mean, somebody say something. Election.
Phone a friend. So Yeah, court 3. That'll be an interesting.
Oh well, yeah.
It'll be
I'm trying to
interesting
find
to
it.
have judges in.
Here, Juan just sent me a private text. Hold on. Oh, he told.
Hey, don't
Hey,
tell
look.
anybody I sent you this text.
Juan knows. I won't bust you, Juan. But Juan knows the judge that you're talking about, Justin. He
Oh.
remembers too. You know, and
Too bad you can't. I
she
wonder
was
if in like 5
pleasant.
minutes you're gonna get an anonymous text message and you can go,
No.
"Oh, I just got an anonymous text message."
She was pleasant. I never had her rule.
That was the most bizarre outburst for that person. She was the sweetest judge, and I was just kind of like,
right.
mm,
This is what I'm
yeah.
saying. This is what I'm saying, man. Okay. Let's see. Hey, how about? Okay, Judge Fleischer. Maybe you're watching. Maybe you're not. Same thing with Judge Wright. Maybe you're watching. Maybe you're not. Y'all had Carlos Aguayo and Mauricio Vasquez coming up against you. Everybody, those were big races that everybody was watching, and because Hispanics, like young, coming in, and they lost big, big, and those were big races. Those were big races. Judge Wright and Judge Fleischer who came through. So did Judge Andrews, Selena Alaniz. All I guess the Hispanic vote, that portion said, hey, look, we're going to base the candidates on experience, history, something. And maybe race didn't play a factor in it, and they just did it on the merits. Right? Like maybe they just did, the voters just voted on the merits.
I don't know. What's really interesting is looking at the different numbers between the races. Now that you don't have straight party voting, there's you got to kind of wonder, like, why did like 3,137 less people vote in this race than the one right next to it? And the straight ticket, you got much similar margins in all the races. So
Judge Erica Ramirez took out Judge Bynum.
Yeah, I remember the numbers on that. That was pretty one-sided and disappointing on my end. But I'd like to know what anybody in the Democratic Party thinks that Judge Bynum was doing against the Democratic Party values.
Nothing. I'm telling
such that another Democrat had to stand up and say, I need to challenge that person for being on the bench.
And I'm telling that the district attorney's office came after Judge Bynum, who is a former member, still a member. You can't be a member if you're a judge, but still a member of a defense team, warrior, trial warrior. The DA's office.
No, he's not a member of the defense team. Judge Bynum has always been motivated by justice and the law.
Well,
exactly. When you're in a room with Franklin Bynum,
you're right.
It's easy to identify the smartest person in the room when it comes to
him.
Legal knowledge and experience. He was a trial attorney and an appellate attorney.
Every single time I've seen him, he has done
I
the
just
right
know
thing.
Why somebody within his own party thinks that was the seat to go after and that he needs to be removed.
And not even.
I hope that Erica understands that, like, she challenged somebody maybe we can talk later on about whether our races should be political or not, but under the Constitution and the laws of Texas, they are. So what about the Democratic Party's values was he not encompassing and putting forth that made her want to challenge that? I'd love for her to come on the show. It would be a friendly chat, but I'd like to give her a chance to answer that question. And anybody else who challenged on either side, anybody who challenges somebody in the party's primary, because that's the thing that stuck with me. Since we had Judge Stinger on here, who also lost his, but he pointed out, and it stuck with me, that I do think that there's you need to kind of give an explanation for why you're challenging someone in your own party's primary, as to why they are not encompassing your party's values. And I think that certainly, whatever, I'm not saying the other races, but Court 8 is one that's like, why did what Democrat would be mad at Franklin Bynum?
I
So
agree.
anyway, sorry.
I have and I'm on the record. I have never seen Judge Bynum do anything than what was right. Period. Always.
So here's a question I have for you. A few other district attorneys or assistant district attorneys won. Do you know if any of them are still at the office, or did they resign after the primary now that they're on the general election ballot?
No, they're still at the office, dude. We're still paying their salary.
So, like, if they get elected in November, will they stay at the office until like December 31st when they're sworn in at midnight?
A little honeymoon.
Or will they take off that month and a half, 2 months?
Hey, some of them.
I don't know. I mean,
hey,
I think that we should know. I mean, I think
hey, some of them that won. I don't know if they got enough comp time accumulated yet.
yeah, right.
That was funny, right?
I think
That was funny. That was
voters
funny.
should
That was funny.
It was, but it's also real, right? I think the voters should have a right to know, like, did your boss come down and tell you to run? And then is your boss letting you continue to draw a paycheck while you're now running in the general election? And then if you win the general election and you have, almost 2 months still before you take the bench, are you going to still continue to take a paycheck from the person who encouraged you to run and supported you while you ran?
Exactly.
After you know that and then they're going to be a litigant. Your former boss will be a litigant in every single case that comes in front of you. It will be 50% of every case.
Is the DA office at the top level, not everyone in there, at the top level, at the political level, are they trying to pack the courts?
Well, I have heard directly from people whose names are on the ballots that they were asked by people above them in the office to run. I have not heard anybody say that they were pushed into doing something they didn't want to do.
Sure.
But I've had more than one. I didn't even ask. Just talking to people, and they were like, "Oh yeah, they asked me to run for this particular bench," and it's people who are high up in the office that. I don't know if you could ever feel like you could say no to something that they came and asked you.
You know who we should have on the show? Joanne Music.
Oh.
She sent an email like, "Hey, what's up, Joanne?" Joanne
We
Music.
actually do.
She needs to come on.
We do need to have Joanne on. It's been way too long.
It's been way too long.
So much of the stuff that you see, Joanne had a major part in creating. So on this show every single week. So yeah.
And
Joanne,
I wonder if she's if she could it would just be great to talk to her.
Sure.
Tell her. I mean, and she jumps right back in. I'm telling you.
I'm not gonna be surprised if Joanne's gonna be
third time
president for a third time.
Third time.
President of HCCLA.
Hey,
yeah.
Third time. Hey.
Yeah. And every time she comes in, she cleans it all up and makes it way better than when she took it all over. And then we can take it and we got about 5 or 6 more years before you need her to take it back over and spruce it up.
We got to talk to her first, all right? We got to talk to her first.
Have you seen her talk to her since she left the office?
No. I mean, other than on the internet.
She has been, that woman is just tough as nails. She has been through so much in the last, 4 or 6 years.
Whew, how long has she been? When did she go back to the DA's office? 4 years ago?
Right
or
after
is
the
it
election,
6 years
right?
ago? It's like 6 years
so
ago.
It's almost 6 years ago, yeah.
6 years ago.
So she's had, she didn't stop. I hope wherever she is right now, she's got a drink in one hand and a beach underneath her.
You know she ain't. She don't.
She needs I know.
No, she don't. Hey,
she's probably cooking one thing and building something and writing a brief all at the same time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joanne Music. Here we go. Right? No, but you look because that might be her coming in.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. She's probably driving by let me just pull in real quick. Hey, wait. No, I
know.
You tease.
Joanne Music played a huge part in funding Reasonable Doubt. So it was back when Carmen was president and Twee ran the show. Then came Joanne, and that's when she put a lot of her weight and support behind Reasonable Doubt. And that's when Jimmy, initially it was Damon and Jimmy. Damon hosted the show. Then I hosted the show. You've hosted. Then we went through a co-host kind of deal. Kate was on. Kate was part of the host. Jimmy was here.
You and Jimmy for
a
a couple of
minute.
years.
You in the booth.
Jimmy's name's still in the intro.
It is. It is.
Jimmy's still the host. Y'all still co-host.
Hey, we need to change that. We need to change that.
Yeah,
Jimmy, if you're watching the show, I'm gonna tag Jimmy and say, Jimmy,
Jimmy, come on back on the show.
we should do like a map of the world, and we can predict where Jimmy Ardwan is. I've heard stories that he is living his best life, and I've heard stories that he's out, climbing Mount Everest and making the law that nobody can comprehend. I've heard very good things about him.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I agree. Okay, so let's go to
You only leave reasonable doubt and go on to better things. I don't know what that says about reasonable doubt, but everything after reasonable doubt is so much better for everyone who comes here.
Well, let's so let's keep going on the elections before we switch topic. Juanita Jackson just killed Twee.
Oh man,
Twee, I love you, but whoa, Juanita just came out.
that's another one where it's interesting to look at the difference in the margin in that race versus other ones. I mean, that was I think the biggest margin difference of all the races. And I just, it's interesting to think of the average voter, because these are people who we know, and the average voter. I remember sitting in the voting room, and I'm like, none of these people know. Like, I know this person on the ballot. Like, and they're like, hey, leave me alone. I'm voting.
Twee would have been, Twee is an incredible legal mind, and Juanita's a legend, a local legend. Like, what I mean, she's been
like
a,
voting
she's
in
a
the
legend.
230th the last time between Judge Morton and Judge Hart.
Do you remember when Judge Morton was on the show and it was sitting Brad Hart, and Brad Hart said, "I guess till we see you again," and then Judge Morton said something to the effect of, "If we got it, let's play it." But Judge Morton said something to the effect of like, "Well, I'll see you when I'm on your bench." Oh God! I mean, like, what? No, but you see, Brad Hart's running back against him.
Yeah, he is.
Woo-wee.
Yeah.
For all the news that has come out about judges this and judges that and judges this, Judge Morton's done an amazing job, in my opinion. Everything I've seen in front of him has been incredible and above board. So that's my opinion. I mean, I've been in front of Brad Hart too. I think I tried one or maybe two cases in front of Brad Hart, maybe one. I don't know how he's been at the Fort Bend, down in Fort Bend. I do know
he's
that
doing great.
Well, I do know that it's an amazing team that they assembled down there. Hopefully, I haven't seen him in 8 years because a lot of them were defense attorneys. Well, the upper levels, the brass. Mm-hmm. I hope they still carry the same values and strengths that we used to talk about in the foxhole. Because I swear to God, if they're not, I will try every GD case that's down there until they realize. Maybe not. But I'm telling you, no, I will try every case. I hope they still carry that sentiment. That's what I'm saying.
I think they do. They're putting like diversion programs and intervention programs together that they didn't used to have down there. So they're kind of slower than I wish they would be, but they're getting there. So I think they do. I think they're just trying to figure things out. It's been a little while. They've had quite a while.
There have been a lot of personnel changes from Harris County to Fort Bend, and I have seen the Harris County District Attorney's Office lose they're going to go get all their training at the Harris County District Attorney's Office, and then they're leaving to take their training elsewhere. And so that's the District Attorney's loss. I will say though that those voids, that those big holes are there. There are some prosecutors that are stepping up and trying the hell out of cases. Even cases that they don't see what's coming and they're hitting, and the defense bar is making good strikes and winning some of these cases and holding the state to their burden. But in like 5-6 years, all these losses that they're getting, they're going to be incredible advocates, and you're going to have to be really good to have to beat them. I'm just telling you, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, there it is, and there's some more training that needs to be done too. I was getting ready for a trial earlier tonight. I was reading a state's motion in limine, and motion in limine number 14 was to prohibit me from mentioning any of the bat van scandal, or any of the DNA lab scandals at the Houston Police Department crime lab.
Please tell me
So-
you said. Please tell me you said I do not agree to that, and we need to have a full-fledged hearing with all of the prior officers subpoenaed and ready to go.
I filed a motion for Brady to find out if there is a bat van scandal connected to this case, because now I'm suspicious. Before, there was nothing to do with a blood test, much less a mobile blood test bus.
Remember
But
that?
now that they filed that motion for limine, I'm like, what are you hiding? What are you hiding from me? Why can't I talk about it if it doesn't exist? Yeah, we're having a hearing on it.
You remember the bat vans back, like, I think it must have been like 12, 13 years ago? There was
It was the very beginning of my career.
There was a team
Like
of
the very
lawyers.
beginning.
HCLA recognized like the bat van lawyers, and it was like Dane Johnson. I'm sure Tyler Flood was in there. Mark Thiessen was in there. But this was you have to realize, like, these guys, the kings of the DWI world, right? The kings of them. This is 10 years ago, and they were just kind of, Dane, I remember being kind of the eldest. Dane being like kind of the ringleader. You know, Dane's running I think he's running as Republican in what used to be what it still is Judge Amy Martin's court. I think that's the court he's running as a Republican in. I don't know, something. I know he's running for something. But I remember when the bat vans was a big thing, and there was something about the refrigeration or the way that they were taking the blood. It's violating not only scientific accepted standards, but also constitutionally the way they were doing it. It was an incredible thing, and they took the whole thing down. That was a united effort by the defense bar, putting out a goal or a theme that we as a group, as a community, need to go out there and fight and figure out. You saw the defense bar do it in conjunction with a whole lot of other people, but bail reform. Rob Fickman had been screaming it 5-10 years before anybody was even understanding what he was saying. Then came remember HCLA fully backing or championing bail reform. Then you have a bunch of other parties or entities, outside parties. We've had them on the show, a couple key players, lawyers with passion and dreams. Remember that one? He came down from the East Coast and was like, I'm going to file a lawsuit against Harris County, and got like some grant, and everybody called him crazy because he was going to reform the whole way Harris County did things. And he did it. And then he did. Yeah, and then he did it. And all of us, and we as a defense bar were a part of that. And we're living it now. And, you look back at the bat vans, you come forward and you look at all the things that the defense bar has done. The Michael Morton Act, remember that? And it's still prolific. Remember that? The Michael Morton, when that came in and it just changed the way we did, the way justice was done? No, it didn't. It just shed a light on the way justice was done. Because
it was done wrong.
Yes, the way it was. That's exactly right. They couldn't hide anymore. They couldn't hide anymore. And what I'm saying is, it's as a community, we've seen these kind of things that's changed, and to see it, it's awesome. I got sidetracked. Jen Gott saying Dan was running in the Democrat primary but dropped out due to schedule. Oh, so Dane's out. I always thought, I was like, Dane, don't get me wrong, like, you're being an incredible judge, but don't you like live in like a palace somewhere and just like win cases and like kick ass? Like, why do you want to be a judge?
Take fees and
well, because all I've heard is that being a judge is not all that it's cracked up to be. Like, it's not.
Oh.
Well, maybe because these judges, quote unquote, are doing their jobs, right? I don't know because I've never been a judge, but
Sounds miserable to me.
it sounds
Like
absolutely
to
miserable.
be
Forget
look.
it.
So here's
No.
the analogy I use with clients because how often do you hear this, right? Well, can't you just get the judge to throw it out? Can't you
Oh,
just get the judge to throw it out? One thing I tell them is like the judges don't have the power to dismiss a case. The judge can't resolve the case by law. There's no legal mechanism for a judge to resolve the case. And I use an analogy. Say a judge is just like a referee in a basketball game. They're not supposed to get involved in the game. They're not supposed to pick who wins or who loses. They're just there to make sure everybody follows the rules. Now, yes, sure, some of the referees' calls in a basketball game can affect the outcome of a basketball game, just like a judge's rulings in a trial can affect the outcome of a case. But the judge is a neutral person. And I don't know about you, man. I do know. I see you every single day in the courthouse. I don't want to be a neutral person in a courtroom. It just sounds like the worst job ever, in my opinion.
hey, right? Forget
I
about
wouldn't
it.
like that.
Now, if you didn't, you know, give a flip or not anything, it might be pretty cush, but I don't see how you go to this job and not care.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and just as a human, like and I'm not, because I don't, because quite frankly, it was most of them, right? Who knows? Who freaking knows? The idea that the judge would just come in, hang out for an hour or two, and bounce, with the amount of work that I guess you just kind of over time realize that these courts are or maybe they weren't as slammed or overloaded as they were. I don't know, but the kind of stress that a judge goes through, no. I say no. If we had one of those things like thumbs up, thumbs down, I say no. And so
Yeah.
for all that are running and being a judge, God bless you. And just don't.
Yeah, I have no idea where life's going to lead me as far as my career goes, but I can just tell you, like right now, the only thing I can ever imagine is if I find myself as a judge, it's going to be because I just felt like there was no other. I don't know. I'm going to have a very specific reason.
Don't get me wrong.
It's not something that I feel very interested in.
Well, don't get me wrong. There are a few people that I think just like look like that they deserve to be a judge. They're going to be a judge and they're going to be there forever. And that's like where they belong and have belonged, and now they're there. Is Judge Raul Rodriguez, hands down. The man I've always wanted.
Oh,
you know what I mean? That's
built for.
He's the judge.
Yeah,
he's the judge. Yes. I mean, Judge Raul Rodriguez.
You know who I think is also very close with that too?
Who?
I think David Fleischer.
Right.
And I think Kelly Andrews.
All day. All day.
I actually also think Cedric Walker is like.
Dude, Cedric has.
I think he slips under our radar too much because he's so quiet. But
Judge Walker.
I don't know. I said earlier that in a room when Franklin Bynum was there, it's easy to figure out who the smartest person is. If Judge Walker were there too, I'd have to kind of think. I think Judge Walker is really.
I've tried.
To get that on shoulders.
I've tried no less than 6 cases in front of Judge Walker at a minimum. Some of the best juror, fair referee, balls, strikes, no commenting, fair game rulings, a fabulous court in the sense of the way it's run. You know, Dolores runs that thing, and you gotta get. She's like first mate at the ship. Like if it doesn't go through her, it doesn't happen. And the only thing it doesn't. And the only other person that she responds to is his honor. And Judge Walker, I'm impressed by him. I really am impressed by him. Not that my opinion matters, but I mean.
But yeah, those I think we have other great judges. I just think that those are people who kind of stand out as they're at that point in their careers and in their lives where they just slipped into that. The other ones have done a very good job as well, and some of them have adapted a little bit more quickly than others. But those are some of the just natural jurists, I think, from the get-go.
Right. You just want to see. You know who I also thought was Judge Bynum. Judge
Bynum, yeah.
Judge
Bynum was
Judge Bynum.
he was also like an easy lightning rod for people. And the good thing about him is he didn't mind it.
Well, no, but
You
they
know, 'cause
didn't have to pick on him like
knew where
that. They didn't have to do that. He was doing what's right. They did not have
Right.
to do that. The DA's
I'm not saying
office
he
and all them
invited
who
it.
came
I'm
after
saying
him did not have to
he
do
didn't
that.
run from it. Yeah,
No, he
didn't run from
didn't.
it.
No, he didn't. But he's a human, and
Sure.
objectively, when two people differ and it's reasonable, that means it's within the zone of reasonableness. And it's just because it's not on the district attorney's side of the meter, you don't get to do that. That's wrong. I think that was wrong.
I agree.
That was wrong.
No, I 100%
And you know
agree.
what? If the district attorney wanted to stand by all of their evidence in court, all that kind of stuff, they would have said, "Fine, judge, we're going to trial on every single case in your court."
Right.
They should have. Fine, then we're going to try everything. You want to be that kind of judge, then we are too. But they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh well. Okay. Anyways, we got 1 minute left. We got through half of the things we were going to talk about, Justin. And team,
What's left?
huh?
What's left? What are we knocking to?
Okay, so we talked about the election. We didn't talk about the Oscar slap. We talked about the glitch.
Oh yeah.
We didn't. We talked about HCLA business. We talked about jury trials. We didn't talk about anything kind of on the flip on the DA's office. We did talk about the associate judges and the MAC. So we did pretty good actually. What should we? What were we gonna? We were gonna do something cool on the way out or something, weren't we?
Our new dance routine. We're not ready to show that.
Wait. Slap!
No.
Slap! Hey, was it fake or was it real? I say fake.
I was gonna ask you.
I say
was gonna ask
fake.
you.
I say fake.
Well, I was starting to say, well, no. Will Smith looked really, really angry. And I was like, but he's an Academy Award-winning actor, so
Hey,
I
King
don't know.
Richard,
The jury's
man.
still out for me.
Have you seen King Richard?
It has been on in the background at certain parts.
Hey.
I'm not real big into biopics.
Dude, hey, did you know? Did you hear about his new movie that's coming out?
Which one?
Fresh Prince.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Buy your table at the HCLA banquet, please.
May 12th.
May 12th. Re-up on the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association. You know you get the emails. Pay the $100 that it takes to do it, and just do it. In fact, if you're watching and you're a student, I'll pay for half of it, up to 10 students. That's all right.
Okay, I'll do the same thing.
Look, that's 20 students.
I'll
That's
do the same
20.
thing.
That's 20. Hey, by the May 12th, Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association banquet.
First 10 people for JV, first 10 people for me. Go on our website, tell our executive director that, you know, you're one of the first 10 student members for JV or Justin, and we'll split the membership.
Done. Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, Houston Media Source, Mark Pirtle in the booth, Justin Harris on the TV, JV.
Vela.
Hasta luego.
Adios.